bowls and tasty treats. Every bite a healthy. Morning starts with something sweet. Superfood, parents on the rise. Healthy living, no surprise. Fresh and tasty, eating wise. Breakfast bowls and tasty treats. Every bite a healthy. Morning starts with something sweet. Superfood, parents on the rise. Healthy living, no surprise. Fresh and tasty, eating wise. Breakfast bowls and tasty treats. Every bite a healthy. Morning starts with something sweet. Superfood, parents on the rise. Healthy living, no surprise. Fresh and tasty, eating wise. Breakfast bowls and tasty treats. Every bite.
All right, I'm live. I'm here. I'm starting early, sort of like I was just practicing and working on things in the background. I've already tested a few of these patties. Y'all, these are high protein. And today, what we're going to be getting into is this slaw right over here. So, this particular slaw is just green cabbage, purple cabbage. I'm going to grab some carrots out of the fridge and I am going to work on that. But right now, I want to show you this. Let me turn the overhead light on. Let's see if we can get some. Hey, okay, popping. Let's see if we can get some things, more things in the scene. So this is the lentil patty base, right? It kind of looks meaty, if you want to call it meaty, something meaty. And as you come into the chat, y'all, I'll just be chatting back and forth with y'all. I do have a comment pinned in the chat so that if you cannot get these vegetables in, these foods that grow from the ground in, I got you covered. That's what this channel is all about. Superfood parents. Parent yourself, parent everybody. So I'm just going to, I've got the pan on. I'm going to put some oil in here. I'll tell you what's in there in that ground I was just showing you. You know, I watch a lot of different channels. I'm just going to give a couple of swirls. Now, avocado oil does have a high smoke point. You know, people like to say if you have to fry one. When I say people, I'm talking about like Dr. Yaki Awakened, right? He has talked about frying in grapeseed oil or avocado oil if you have to fry something, right? It's kind of like you got to do the top shelf thing. You know, if you are a person that's into spirits, you want to definitely get from the top shelf. You already know it's not good for you, so just do the best you can with the worst, right? So I've did a couple of swirls of that avocado oil here. Hey, hey, G Mama Grows Heart in the Garden. So good to see you. So this is the way these patties are going to work. I am going to, I didn't grow any of these things. G Mama Grows Hard in the Garden. She does that. I didn't grow this, but y'all hear that sizzle? The pan was already hot. I'm just piling up one lump right here because I want these patties to be thick. I already created, and I'm saying patty because it's burgery. It is burgery, but you know how Krabby Patties never said they were burgers. That's how I am. All of this stuff that's animal free, it is not a burger. It never tastes like a burger, and oftentimes they taste like the texture is like a mashed potatoes on a bun. Come on now, we already got the bun. We need some texture, something to bite into. So what's in these burgers, excuse me, these patties are this is what it looks like when it's done. I made them fairly thick. These have green lentils because green lentils tend to keep their bite, their texture. So these have green lentils, onions, garlic. Oh, I have green lentils and mushrooms. That's what's going to give you the high protein, first of all. But then also, I'm just going to eat a piece. And my daughter already approved this, so I know it's good. Green lentils, purple cabbage, green lentils, shiitake mushrooms, purple cabbage, onions, garlic. What else? Pea protein. I'm going to show you all the bag of pea protein. So that way you can see. Hey, Six, you always cooking. I thank you for being here, Six Bowls is that. I'm going to show y'all the pea protein. And y'all tell me if I sound muffled. I'm chewing right now, but yet the other day my headset, I always use my Bluetooth and it gets muffled. So this particular pea protein, it doesn't matter which brand. I'm not even going to show you the brand. Just go to my link that's in the comments for my link tree. Go to my Amazon shop. I have several different brands of pea protein because this one I had on auto delivery and it recently it went out. You know, they ran out or something. So that being said, these are sizzling, and because our palate really enjoys fat, I'm gonna make sure I swirl that around so the grease can get around the edges. Now, another thing that's included in these patties is the chickpea flour. That's what is holding these all together. I'm gonna put this back in the drawer. The pea protein goes back in the drawer, and from the cabinet over here, I'm gonna grab the chickpea flour. Y'all, let me know if I sound muffled. I might need to move my headset. Thank you so much for G Mama Rose for saying it sounds good to you. And then you know what? It looks like a burger patty. It tastes like a almost burgery. Let me say that because the flavor I used was kind of burgery, but my daughter said, yeah, that works. Once I added the mayo, mustard, ketchup. Yes. Y'all see this label here? I put this in a Dollar Tree container. See, the label is still the $1.25 treat. But I still have this label so I'll know what's in here. And it says here split chickpea flour. You know, I'm not making my own chickpea flour. I am just using what they're selling out here. So that being said, they call it graham flour, they call it chickpea flour. It binds things together really well. I don't really have any wheat flour right now. I have millet flour. I'm gonna show y'all how I flip these, okay? So first I'm gonna get you in close so you can kind of see what's going on. And then you gotta go slow. Ooh, sorry y'all, I'm hitting the camera and everything. Then you gotta move the oil around and flip it. So that way you get everything in there. I'll do the same thing with this one and then we'll see what we can do. So you want to go around all sides because as you see, the top is not cooked yet. So let me put some grease on that side at the bottom. Grease as an avocado oil. And boom, I flipped it. So now it's nice and brown. One way that I gave these the brown color, because I told you the ingredients, I definitely started with the chickpea flour. Excuse me. I started with the green lentils. The chickpea flour is just holding it together. That's going to give you that high protein as well as the green lentils. Those are the things. So, you know, the difference between millet and wheat flour is simply where it comes from. Like millet is a whole grain, wheat is a whole grain. So, what they do is they take the millet berries or the millet pods, I don't know what you call them, and they grind it just like they would wheat. Um, and you know, you hear in the Bible or from different places about separating the wheat from the chaff and all of that. So millet, it goes through a similar process where you know they have to just process it down, and it turns into flour in the same way that you have oats that you grind down into flour or chickpeas that you grind down into flour. So millet is its own thing. Wheat is its own thing. And so, yep, you grind any of those bad boys up and you just end up with the flour. And the nice thing about the gram flour, though, is it does hold things together and gives it a nice bouncy bite. That's the best way I can describe it as a bouncy bite. Okay. And so you're welcome, G Mama Grows. Thank you for asking that question about the millet versus the wheat. Because, you know, there's a lot of hoaxes out here. I'm not going to say hoaxes, but they are hoaxes regarding millet flour, wheat flour. Just let me say this regarding gluten. I've come over here to the refrigerator, y'all, because I'm grabbing the buns and I'm grabbing a carrot for my slaw. So when people say gluten free, gluten comes from wheat. It's simply a wheat product. So they will say gluten free pickles. Well, cucumbers are cucumbers. They don't have any wheat in them. So they would not have gluten in them, would they? I'm going to rinse off my carrot. You'll hear that in the background. And this carrot is for the slaw. So that's one of the reasons why, you hear all this different propaganda here around gluten free. They will throw that on so many things, or like plant based. I don't even use the word plant based. I just say it's either animal free or it's not. Because I've seen plant based meats where they already have the patties made up with ground beef in the store, and they just threw the onions and stuff in it. Like your mama used to make the burgers or whatever, or at a cookout, you made your own patties, and they call it plant based because the base, it does have some plants in it. So, y'all, this is what I'm doing with this carrot, using a vegetable peeler and just shaving off a little bit so that way this slaw will have a nice, pretty color. And I have this paper towel over here for my patties. So I'll show you how I do this with the patties to make it cute. I like to keep everything really organized when I'm cooking because I've always had small spaces. And now that I have this 3,000 square foot home, I don't really have small spaces, but I still like keeping things neat. People like to see things neat. Hey, Life with Ashoria, good to see you again. People like to see things neat when you're cooking their food as well. Because every time you turn around, there's a breakout of something. So I've added those two patties there onto a paper towel. Like with the Shoria, let me tell you what I've got here. These are done. I've got some patties. Y'all hear that sizzle? Y'all know we love hearing stuff fried. There's something about it. I don't know what it is, but I'm just going to add this to the paper towel. And then once I'm gonna show this up close too. This is the side that was not on the fire, and this is the side that was on the fire. As long as it stays together, that's all you really need. It's done. You really just need the flour to be that's holding it all together. You need that to be cooked through. So, and y'all know I got those mama hands. I can just tap the grease. It ain't nothing really that hot to me. I'm used to it all. It looks like I might have to switch my headset. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit more avocado oil, and then I'll show you all these high protein patties again. So there's a little bit of avocado oil in here. Swirl it around in the pan, and I'll add another few dollops of this mixture. Now, in order to make this patty mixture, I got the secret sauce like the Krabby Patties. I use green lentils for the protein, mushrooms, I use onions, garlic, celery. Celery is a wonderful herb. And one of the reasons why I use all of those vegetables is not just to give it the bite, but I use that because if it grows from the ground, I say this every time, it has fiber, it has antioxidants. So fiber is going to help you regulate your blood sugar because fiber helps your blood sugar not to spike. It keeps the sugar from being released too quickly into your bloodstream. So let's do that. Swirl the oil around so it gets all the way on the outside of the patties, and boom, that's what they look like up close. Thanks for chatting, G Mama Grows. Y'all know I like to do 30 minutes or less live streams. This is going to be a pretty quick one. So, what I'm doing right now is I am creating the slaw over here on the side. So, yep, I did hold everything together with the chickpea flour, and absolutely, I did put in seasonings. The types of seasonings that I use for this, one thing that people often use if they want that burgery flavor is cumin and garlic powder. Also, they want a nice savory or salty sensation as well. So for the savoriness, that's where I use my liquid aminos. So that way it's less sodium than salt, like table salt, Himalayan salt, black salt. By the way, black salt is a wonderful salt if you want a salty flavor and a smaller amount of sodium. We'll put it that way. Okay, so these are the liquid aminos. You know what? You use a lot of cumin, G Mama Grows. I do like the flavor of cumin. However, I try with these plant-based burgers, not or patties, not to make the cumin too strong because what will happen is if I add too much cumin, it tastes it just has a bitter flavor, in my opinion. So I'm just putting the onion, no, not the onions. I said I was gonna add some onions, but I'm just adding for this simple slaw today, green cabbage, purple cabbage, carrots. I might throw a little bit of onion in here because that really sets it off nicely. The onions, and then what you do with is this is going to go onto the burger, okay, like onto the bun, I should say. So what you're going to add to it is salt, oil, sugar, excuse me, yes, let me say that, let me say it the right way. This is how I always remember it: salt, sugar, oil, and vinegar. And in order to, that's all you need for a vinaigrette. And in order for it to stay together, you need mustard. So we're just going to squeeze some mustard in there, about a tablespoon. And then we'll put in some salt, aka liquid aminos. This is how you can make sure that it's not too salty. And I told you I would be going live because I cook every day. So this is one of the easiest ways for me to go live. I put in about a teaspoon and a half, because that's all I have left of this liquid aminos. If I need more salt, I might add black salt. Because like I told you, black salt comes from volcanic areas. Mm-hmm. I'm tasting this. Black salt comes from volcanic areas. However, that's why they call it black salt, because however, it's pink in color. So I've got my salt, I've got my oil. Now I'm going to add my vinegar. When I say vinegar, in my situation, I tend to use lime. I really like the brightness of lime. I do have vinegar and I have fresh limes. So we'll see which one I'm going to put in. I like the limes because I like the way they work with, y'all see I'm scraping this slowly but surely. That way you keep all the crisp. And get you a pan that can take some metal on it. That way, or get you a nonstick, and use your nonstick utensils. But we just flipped those patties. Y'all let me know if my volume's okay because this headset is gonna die soon. I'm gonna put a little bit more oil in the pan. Dr. Esselstyn would not be happy because Dr. Esselstyn is the one that fixed Samuel L. Jackson's deep vein thrombosis years ago. I'm talking like 15 years ago, maybe. And he let us know oil damages the structure of the inside of your blood vessels. So this is why a lot of us have blood pressure issues and blood sugar issues because the lining of our blood vessels are damaged by oil. You would think the oil would make them more soft and pliable and movable. It works in the opposite because the inside lining of our vessels are already smooth and silky and they can let's just say they're like squishy, right? I'll give you an example. So if your blood vessels are already like a balloon, you know how a balloon is really soft, flexible, you can stretch it and everything. When you add the oil, because your blood vessels are alive, they're like, wait, hold up. We can't be too slippery. So then they add a little bit of stiffness because your body makes your own cholesterol. So I'm chopping this onion, y'all, to put into this slaw. I'm just going to put in half the onion. So now your body is making cholesterol so that it can patch up these slippery spots and give it some more grip. And now your arteries are getting stiff because they have all these patches on them. And so that's how you get high blood pressure, high cholesterol, because now the balloon is stiff. So it's like having a mylar balloon instead of the stretchy one, instead of the stretchy balloon. And of course, with the mylar balloon, you can just poke a hole in it and the whole thing is bad, right? Now it's like, yep, it's stiff. You poke a hole in it, it's going to let all the air out, just like with the other balloon, the stretchy one. But in this case, if it's your blood vessel, this is where we get time. And so this is where, it's easy for me to break things down into simple terms. I'm just going to add sugar to this because remember I said we need oil and vinegar. So I've already added the oil, which was the avocado oil to this slaw. I've added the salt, which was the liquid aminos. I'm just adding cane sugar, about a teaspoon and a half. And then the last thing that I need to add here is the quote unquote vinegar. In this case, hey, Life with Shoria, thanks for chatting back to G Mama Grows. In this case, I'm just going to grab a couple of lines out of the fridge, and I'm still working on these. This is how you can use your cabbages: purple cabbage, green cabbage. Now and later, I'm gonna put this carrot back in the fridge too. My daughter loves carrot, so she might take this tomorrow for lunch. I will slice it into little strips. She puts it into her bento box, and boom, she goes down. Line on the thread. I'm just going to rinse it, cut it, squeeze it into the. And I think these tags are ready because they don't take any time at all. Let's see, how much time are we in on this live stream? Oh, we're at 21 minutes. Yep. It's about time to build this sandwich out. I'm going to show you all the non-dairy cheese that I use. And I'm just, squeezing this lime into this bowl. And the best way to do it is to use your thumb and get in there. Yeah, yeah, get in there. Yeah, yeah. And that way you can get so much more juice than just if you used a juicer, right? We have everything that we need. We were born with it. And your left hand, your right hand, y'all know it can do some things, right? Depending on which hand you left-handed, you right-handed. What are you? I'm left-handed, but you can get all the juice out of this lime with just, quite a few squeezes here. So y'all see, it's like a never-ending fountain. And this is just half of a lime, by the way. So now that I've got my citrus in there, I've got my sugar, I've got my oil, and I've got my vinegar. And then the mustard brings it all together. I'm going to use my Cutco knife. Y'all notice I use this knife for everything. I just use this Cutco knife, which is on my Amazon shop. I use that to chop up the onion. Now I'm using it to stir this together. I have used it as a spatula because it's actually their spreader. And I started using this when my kids were little, but I purchased it before they were born. So that's how I know I've had it for over 20 years. And yeah, this is one of the best knives money can buy. So I'm going to go ahead and put these patties out onto the paper towel. I'm going to move these that have already drained a little bit of oil. And I'm going to put these onto that paper towel and start all over again. I'm going to build a burger or a patty. I'm going to build one of these patties and buns. Let's call it that. And we'll be done because we'll be at 30 minutes. We're at 23 minutes right now. If you have any questions, But I will say everybody's into protein. The nice thing is that these give you protein and fiber. Now, protein is important. Once you get over age 65, Dr. Joel Furman talks about this. Protein, and not just Dr. Joel Furman, but Dr. Brooke Goldman. She's the lupus doctor. Goodbye Lupus. Dr. Brooke, Brooke, Goldner, Goldner. She has healed her own lupus in addition to a lot of other people's autoimmune diseases. So they talk about Dr. Brooke Goldner, Dr. Joel Furman, quite a few other doctors, Dr. Pam Popper. They talk about us getting elderly and needing more protein once we're over like age 65. But they're not talking about like just busting down wings. Y'all be doing too much. Come on. Do better for yourself, right? If you know you're gonna bust down the wings, stop leaving that celery beside the wings because the celery, you're gonna get your fiber, you're going to get your antioxidants, you're going to get other vitamins, minerals, nutrients from those foods, right? So that's why when we made these patties, I said, okay, let me make something that's gonna really work well. And it looks like I have like one patty's worth of the base here. Chickpea flour is holding that all together. Remember I told y'all the chickpea flour is full of protein because beans, lentils, peas, they all are high in protein. So I just went to the international market and bought this powder. It's a chickpea flour, excuse me. And that's how I created my patties so that they would stick together without eggs. I didn't even have to use lentils. Oh, y'all know what I forgot? I put pumpkin seeds. So that's it. I need some seeds. I need omega 3s. All of your seeds have omega seeds. Chia, hemp, flax, sesame, all of them. Omega 3s is what you'll get from those. I'm just tasting this slaw so I can see what it needs. In my opinion, it needs a little bit of oil and a little bit of sugar, and then it'll be good to go. So I'll show you all how I make this sandwich. I'm going to turn the toaster oven on so I can melt my cheese just a little bit. I just added the oil to the slaw. This slaw is great on IKEA's veggie burgers, excuse me, veggie dogs, or their regular dogs, or whatever you're eating. This slaw is amazing on a hot dog because Field Roast has an amazing meatless hot dog. When I say amazing, it ain't good for you because it has a whole lot of oil in it, and that's all, it's processed, y'all. This is why I try to add whole foods. But the Field Roast hot dog does have a regular hot dog flavor. It ain't Nathan's because I told you I've eaten every animal that probably was creeping and crawling. I don't think I've ever had squirrel, but I like squirrels. They've been my friends, and Richard, no, not Richard. What's his name? Oh my goodness, there's a squirrel guy I watch, and I used to always make up stories. Now I can watch him in real time make up stories on squirrel. So we got this going. Our sauce going on the burger. What I'm going to do is get these ballpark buns because ballpark buns are animal free. Ballpark buns do not have eggs or milk. So when I say animal free, I'm talking about it doesn't have any products from animals and it doesn't have any animals in it. Now, animals, yeah, they used to taste delicious, but I live where the PETA headquarters is, and I go to their volunteer parties. PETA, as in the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, and it's a fun volunteer party because they actually have a strong vegan advocacy, but I never knew that because I was always focused on, Lord, they throwing blood on somebody, the extreme things. And I don't personally like gore. I'm a silly girl, so I was never into that part. But I do like that Peter always provides us at their volunteer parties with options that are animal free. And they encourage that, and not just for the animals, but for your health. Um, I know I specifically encourage it for your health because I've been able to reduce my different people's A1Cs, not just one person. I've been able to reduce people's blood pressure, blood sugar, people's weight, people's period pain. I had one friend, I told her, just try 30 days. And after that 30 days, without dairy, no milk, butter, cheese, just talk about the no dairy ones. I'm about to show you how a couple non-dairy cheeses. She's got fats and everything and stuff. Now she doesn't. So this particular brand is called Good Plant Foods. This cheddar is decent. I like it. Now, I have a friend, her daughter can't eat coconut oil. So guess what? Armored Fresh sells oat milk slices and they're individually wrapped. So that's the cool part about that one. Follow your heart. I've showed y'all that before. Let me show you what I mean by follow your heart. This brand, this is the mayonnaise or Vegenaise I use. Follow Your Heart is the brand. They make slices of cheese. So I'm going to use the oat one for right now because I'm from the 80s. I'm used to this package situation. And I'm going to put this on a patty and put it into my toaster oven so it can melt. Okay. While I do that, onto the bun, I'm going to add. Y'all, let me know if y'all can hear me. If my audio went out or what happened. I think it's still on. I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna add this. If the audio went out, I'm going to add it in later with the voiceover. All right, and put a little bit up there, a little over here. Let me double check and look and see if I am muted. Nope, it looks like my microphone is on. Okay. Yep, looks like it's working. I'm gonna go ahead and put some mustard on this bun and ketchup. And I'm gonna add some pickles and some lettuce. Because I try to make sure that my whole foods outweigh my processed foods. Remember I told y'all that this is a 30-minute live stream. So we're almost done. Coco, are you willing to go with another taste test? Okay, she said sure, y'all. That's a good sign. This is the way I chop my lettuce. I just lay it down and literally slice it. I learned this when I was working in restaurants. And now I've got some lettuce that'll be nice for a little ketchup. So that lettuce is going to be nice for the sandwich. Plus, we're still adding a little bit of that slaw. And maybe we'll hit it with a pickle. Because y'all know when you go to Chick-fil-A or even McDonald's, it was that pickle that made everything really hot. So nothing has changed. I like the bread and butter sliced pickles. So there we go. We got that spread out. I'm going to get some pickles on here. I'll get a little bit of slaw on here. So I'm going to turn the stove off. No, I'm not. I still have a couple of patties to go. So I'll just take these two out and put the last one in. Thank y'all for helping me to finish these up. So you gotta get in there, get some elbow power. I have one last patty that I'll put together. So we just hit it one last time with our avocado oil and just a little. Our cheese is melted on the patty. Remember, it's a non-dairy cheese. The flavor is really good. I will say that. This is my second time purchasing that particular oat slice. Like I said, my friend, I was surprised. Her daughter, even though coconut is not a nut, and she has a lot of allergies to nuts, she cannot even eat coconuts. And I've known people that could not eat pineapples, that could not eat. I just met several people that could not eat beans or lentils of any sort. I was like, wow, now that's something. So I'm gonna add a few pickles. Why are you smiling, Coco? Add a few pickles to this bun. Now I like a lot of pickles, like so that way I get some in every bite. What about you, Coco? Do you prefer? You do like a lot. Okay. So I'll just cover the entire bun. And remember, these are just ballpark buns. They'll be sponsoring me in the near future, I'm sure. Put a little bit of slaw. This way we got some crunch. And remember, this slaw is good for everything. You can go on most any type of sandwich or cookout type of situation. And then I'm going to press down lettuce. Lord, lettuce hitting the floor and everything. Okay. Let's get this. Eat that. And now, got that there. What I'm going to do is get a spatula and get this patty from the toaster oven to show y'all how this cheese is starting to melt. So I'm going to lay this down right on top of the see, that's the patty with the cheese. And then what I'll do is, this is the way I kind of make everything stick together. Boom, like that. Then I can put on the bottom bun, and I can give it to our taste tester, and we can see what she's going to say. Now, remember, that's hot, so bite it, a little bit, and be careful with it, and let us know, because we're at 35 minutes, we're over time, and we got to get out of here. What do you think? How's the flavor? How's the texture? Wait, is that a thumbs up? Put your hand down a little bit closer, not close to the pot, but yes. Hey, we got a thumbs up. Can you tell us anything about the bite, the texture, the flavor? Because, part of the reason why y'all never liked the patties I made is because they were always too soft and smushy, right? Crispier. So the outside is crispy, but then once you start to eat it, what about just chewing it all together with the bun and everything?
A bit softer, but it's still good.
Mm-hmm.
And pickles and stuff have
Mm-hmm. But the burger itself, once you're eating it, is it as soft as those other burgers I used to make, or would you say what?
they're a bit more firmer.
Mm-hmm. More firm?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So this is it, y'all. We are over time. We're getting out of here. Thank y'all for being here. Cook up some good things for yourself, and as you know, get your faves in. Fruits and vegetables every spread. Save yourself. It'll help you out. Take care.
Superfood, parents on the rise. Healthy living, no surprise. Fresh and tasty, eating wise. Breakfast bowls and tasty treats. Every bite a healthy. Morning starts with something sweet.